Hello everyone and welcome back to Senior Cat Wellness. I hope this video finds you in good spirits, and being in good spirits, that's pretty much the angle for today's video entry. Your cat's mood. Are they content or are they rather moody and rather stressed? We're going to chat about something that a lot of cat owners wonder when the season starts to change. Do cats actually get seasonal depression? It's a really important question, especially as we do head into the colder and darker months here of fall and wintertime. Now, while cats may not experience depression in the same way that we do, the way humans do, many do show notable changes in their mood, behavior, and, of course, overall energy levels as the seasons do change. So, in this material, we're going to walk you through the signs to look for and why it happens and what you can do, most importantly, to support your cat through these colder months and these seasonal changes. So, let's first start with, do they really get depressed? It's hard to really fix something that may or may not actually happen. Well, technically, in the vet world, seasonal depression is not a diagnosis, never has been, and likely never will be for felines. However, on the surface, and this is just from owner to owner, just observations over the course of time, cats do, not all, but some do, tend to show signs of, let's call it, seasonal behavioral changes, especially when it gets colder. If you certainly live in a cold weather climate where those winters are, not 35 degrees Fahrenheit, but closer to 0 degrees, where cold is actually really, really cold, yeah, that fall and winter time can be harsh, not only weather-wise for you, but on your cat and their mood, just how they're going through their day-to-day. So let's just think about it logically here. Colder temperatures, it's less daylight, sun's going down earlier. That means more time indoors naturally. Things are more closed off, let's say, fewer open windows, and possibly changes to your own routine based on the cold. And if your routine begins to change, your cat will know it, and thus their routine will have to change. All of these can affect cats in very negative ways, some more than others, of course, but certainly things aren't always roses, especially compared to how they might be in the spring and the summer. So for some felines, these changes can be very minor, but for others, especially those that are just sort of naturally prone to anxiety and just stressed, maybe more thin-skinned, as some might say. Yeah, if they're prone to anxiety, this can really turn them upside down for a few months, perhaps, in terms of that stress and anxiety. So, what are the signs to look for as a loving and responsible owner? You think it could be happening to your cat if it's an annual thing? What do you really look for? Well, let's start off with sleep, and believe it or not, we've talked many times on this channel how cats can sleep 12 to 16, almost 18 hours in some situations per day. Cats sleep a lot, we all know that, but one of the signs to look for, sort of interestingly enough, but cats are actually sleeping more than what you would usually expect. Your cat is suddenly adding 2 or 3 hours to their already lengthy on and off sleep schedule throughout the 24-hour period, especially if they're sleeping more in the daytime. It could be your cat's response to these shorter days, just lower overall energy levels. Also, you can look for a change in their appetite. Some cats may just lose interest entirely in eating. Others may overeat to almost compensate their lack of ability to, say, for example, go outside because it's, 20 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So eating out of boredom, eating out of lack of positive recreation, notable changes in the eating habits during the colder months is something you want to look for and certainly not to ignore if you see it. And this sort of piggybacks on this next one. It's less interest in play or less ability to play and maybe less overall interaction even with you. If you're usually playful and cheerful, cat suddenly doesn't want to chase their favorite toy or even have a little patty cake session, let's call it, with you. It could be sort of what we would consider on the surface depression, but let's just call it mood swings toward the negative side. Lack of desire for mental stimulation, even physical stimulation. It's a sign to look for that these winter months, these fall and winter months, could be affecting your cat in a negative way. What about maybe wanting to cuddle a lot? Some cats could want to avoid, but some cats could want you even more clinginess and more vocalization. It's sort of the other end of this equation, other end of the spectrum here. Some cats become very needy and vocal when the seasons do change. They may follow you around more than usual, more than, say, on those spring and summer days. Maybe they're seeking you out for comfort due to these changes. And let's talk about litter box issues. This tends to almost crop up in anything that deals with your cat's behavior, but sometimes your cat will start to go outside of the litter box, and it may not be just because they're having a behavioral issue, let's just say, but In the context of today's video entry, it could be a response to what's going on in terms of the seasonal changes and how they're not having a good go of it and responding negatively. But as always, when it comes to so many things, but especially the litter box, you do want to rule out a health concern. So don't just chalk it up to the fact that it's cold outside compared to months prior. But let's make sure your cat is healthy, physically healthy, before we write everything off to simply the fact that it's late in the year and it's getting much colder. But overall, why does this happen in the first place? Well, I guess it's similar to people in some ways, right? Less daylight can affect the rhythm of the day, the rhythm of the routine. That internal clock gets sort of tweaked in a way that's not so favorable to felines. Colder temperatures, right? It's not 80 degrees, it's now 35 or 40 degrees. Colder nights, maybe the wind is picking up. Perhaps that warm springtime summer rain shower is now a snow shower as we get deeper into the winter months. And this sort of, I guess you could say, naturally leads to more boredom. Your cat can spend less time doing sort of energetic things because it's sort of dark and gloomy and rainy and snowy and uncomfortable. So your routine can change, and with that, their routine can change. So it's basically the collective of everything I've said that is often used to define the fall and winter months in every aspect. What can you do now that we know this is happening? Not to all cats, but to many. As a loving owner, if this is happening to your pet, what can you do? Well, let's get those lights going, right? The daytime, when the sun is out, even if it's cold outside, let's let the light in, right? Let the light indoors. If you can't let your cat go outside, bring in the lights. So open those blinds and curtains during the day as much as you can. Make it appear, for all that you can, make it appear like a nice spring day, at least on the inside. And that routine, you're going to have to change your routine naturally when the cold weather strikes, but try to modify it as least as possible, right? Be predictable, be on the routine, and don't tweak it as much. And some things you can't control, but do everything you can to stick to the routine. And hey, more enrichment. Don't let your cat fall into that lull period, that dull period where they're lethargic and the season is really getting to them in a negative way. So maybe increase the toys, increase the play sessions. What is considered a normal play session indoors in the summertime, maybe double it or even triple it if you have the time and opportunity. Keep them warm, of course. Keep them warm. If they're used to sitting in front of that window in the summertime, and that sun's shining and feels nice on their coat, do all you can to keep them warm and comfortable. And finally, if you do have any questions about everything, if you're worried that there could be more going on here on a physical level here, of course, always talk to your vet and don't forget those routine vet checkups. Overall, cats can be affected by the environment. Make no mistake, just like we can. It's the rhythm of the seasons, let's call it, and sometimes your pet could need an extra pick-me-up during those harsh winter months. So keep an eye out for any subtle signs, anything that goes against your cat's normal baseline in their behavior, just the way they're acting, and adjust that home environment to keep them engaged and very comfortable. More importantly, stay connected, right? Don't ignore them. And if you see something is going on and they may need a little help, even a quick pet or pat on the head, it could change their mood drastically, especially if a seasonal issue is to blame for their changes in overall behavior. Your time and your attention and just caring for them during the winter months, hey, it can make a huge difference. To the wonderful audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts? With those seasons now starting to change and the weather beginning to shift, does your cat seem to shift with it? For good or for bad, does your cat's mood seem to swing every few months? If you've seen the seasonal changes firsthand and the effects they've had on your cat, that comment section is certainly a great place to share it with everyone in the community. As always, to the viewers, that comment section, it's all yours. If you enjoyed this content and found it helpful and informative, found it to be just what you're looking for, share out the video, give it a like, and subscribe to us right here at Senior Cat Wellness. Until next time, we will talk to you later.